I have been offered even very good jobs in government. I've been given an offer of a job of up to 700,000 a month salary, which I said no to. There is no difference between those in government today and some of those in the united opposition.
They're the same faces, just different situations.
It's been recycled. Okay, so the same monkeys in a different forest. You've had the agendas that we have, a people's government, abolishing taxes. We are talking about issues, not tribes. Okay, so if our issues align with them, if Gachagua comes and says, yes, we support this issue of taxes, yes, we support this issue of devolution, we shall work together.
Hello, and welcome back to the Kenya Times, where we bring you meaningful conversations that shape our political and our governance landscapes. Now, joining me today is none other than Mr. Bob Njagi, who is a human rights defender, a land rights activist, chairman of the Free Kenya movement, and one of the presidential aspirants in 2027. He is a man who has been abducted, not in one, but two different countries, that is Kenya and Uganda. But he's here to tell us his story and his future plans and ambitions. Remember to follow through the entire conversation. I'm your host, Teddy Ernest. Karibu sana, Mr. Njagi. Welcome to the Kenya Times.
Asante sana, Teddy, and thank you for hosting me today.
Yeah. Feel free. This is where we do the wonders.
Great.
Yeah. Now, before we start this conversation, there's something that I just wanted to ask. Na hii ni mimi tu, apart from the interview, because and I've been really thinking about it. Like sisi wengine wakati tulikuwa tunaekewa uoga. I don't know ni sisi tuliekewa uoga mingi ama ni nyinyi hamukuekewa uoga, like, because you've been abducted in two different countries. That is Kenya, and that is Uganda. That is two different experiences. Now, specifically, twende Uganda, you know, a lot of people fear Museveni. Ruto kidogo, but when people hear Museveni, a lot of people fear Museveni. But you've gone through that. Now, you're still there. You're not tiring, like, bado uko kwa game. Umesema, kama ni mbaya, ni mbaya. And so, I just want to ask, you don't fear, you know, the Subaru boys, you don't fear the government?
Well, I think thank you again for hosting me again. Kenya Times is really doing great in terms of educating the masses through civic education online. So I'm glad to be here. Fear, I think we have gone beyond fear. We are now fearless. Yeah, that's what we were saying as the imagine new generation of leaders. Fear has been used as a tool of oppression by the oppressors for many years, since the colonial times. Actually, fear is the greatest, let me say, it's what they use to control the masses. When you have the fear to come out and protest, to even agitate for your own rights. And once we bow down to fear, that's when they win the war, you see.
But
so we are not fearful. We are fearful, as in you have to care for your people. We have families. I have family, a son, sons, daughters. Okay, so anytime you come out on the street, you have to question whether, because we are met with a lot of violence. But at the end of the day, the conviction comes from the fact that if you don't come out, then you're going to still die in the house. Yeah, out of the taxes and out of the, you know, so you better come out and fight for your rights and for your family.
But you don't feel like, you know, you're being watched, you're being monitored, your steps, something like that. You're under surveillance 24/7.
All the time. My phones are tapped, my movements are traced. Even now I could not come straight here to the studio. I have to use 2-3 different kinds of transport to get here.
And do you receive threats? You know,
I have been threatened many times, on phone directly. I've come across physical threats. Yes, because you see the corruption and the people who are in government who don't want to, you know, shape up, they fight back, and they're using different forms, from goons. Okay, they can send goons to attack you, right? They can directly come to my place of work and intimidate people whom I'm working with. In the process, I've lost a lot of business since that time. Okay, people are afraid to even associate with you because of the perception that they could be targeted by the same state as if they're supporting you, you know. Yeah, so the fear is there, but I think many people have made greater sacrifices. When you start from the first liberation of the Mau Mau, they had to get out of their fear and the comfort zones for them to liberate this country. Were it not for that, they will still be under the colonial rule. Then came the second liberation, where we had people who had to come out and face the system of the day. Okay, the likes of Raila Odinga, you know the story.
Yeah.
Then now the third liberation is, people say it's the time we got a new constitution, and now we are agitating for another liberation of economic freedom, whereby we not only have independence, but we have economic freedom. Economic freedom comes from liberating this country from those who are holding on to the tools of economic emancipation. What I mean is to say, we have a system that has continuously made it sure that there is a class of the rich and there is a class of the poor. It is designed that way in a capitalistic system, so that there are people who continue to prosper, whereas there are people who will stay in a state of perpetual poverty.
Okay.
That's how the system works.
Now, before we get into that, we'll get into that at a later stage. But at this point, I just want us to, to get your experience, what you've really gone through, and what it feels like, to be you. And someone will ask, this is a life of discomfort. You're under monitoring, you're under surveillance all the time. And someone will ask, why would you choose this life? Because it's a life that you have to struggle. It's a life that you can't live peacefully. Why would you choose this life?
I think it's more or less like a calling, because to be honest, Teddy, I have been offered even very good jobs in government. I've been given an offer of a job of up to 700,000 a month salary, which I said no to, you see. So if we were doing this to benefit ourselves or for selfish interest, then one would be already swayed to support government by now, okay? But some of us, I think, we are here for a particular purpose and a mission, which we have to fulfill, that is to liberate this country. And if we fail to do that, we will have failed in our generational mission.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, when we had the finance bill protests, that was in 2024, after some time, kulikuja na hizo, rumors or allegations that some of these top activists were actually being paid, they were benefiting. I know you've received this question a lot of times, because you've said you've turned down a well-paying job.
Sure.
And I'm sure it has a lot of privileges that change life. So a lot of people, they will just want to question, do you people benefit financially from activism? I mean, sponsors, donors, kuna watu wa opposition? Well,
personally, I've never been a beneficiary of funds from any outside source, any donor at all. The only support we get, which I've gotten, is from Defenders Coalition. They have supported us with legal support during the times we've been arrested.
No financial support at any point?
No. We're not funded to do protest. Even this 25th that is coming, there is nobody who's going. We organize and mobilize ourselves. You don't need to be funded to go and fight for your rights. The oppressor himself is the one mobilizing us. That is Ruto. He's giving us enough reasons to protest.
But some protests look too expensive. We've seen coffins being laid on the road.
Yeah.
And coffins, see, kitu cheap.
Yeah.
And we've seen people using tools that are very expensive, mobilizing the crowds.
You see,
so where are you getting the resources?
I'm not saying, no, for me, I've never participated in such. I think our protests are very organic. You've seen what we do in Kitengela. Yeah.
Whether Kitengela?
Yeah. So, yetu ni kugodha. Hakuna story ya ati PR exercises.
Kitengela.
Yeah. People die in those protests. So you cannot come there for a PR moment, you know, for a selfie moment. We don't even have time to use phones.
But let me ask now, if we have goons who are being sent to, you know, if a goon can walk into a church that is protected by the police, you can't tell me that this goon akilipwa in the protests itakuwa ngumu, because we've seen
the culture of goonism has been introduced by the same state.
So it's the state
using the goons that has introduced. Well, now there are goons for hire. From what I know, they are actually being used by either of the sides, even by politicians. Okay, goons have become a tool of trade for politics, whereby you want to use people to intimidate your opponents. For me, I think that culture is not right. We are not advocating for violence. Even in our protest, we advocate for massive protest, but peacefully. It is the police that come with a lot of tear gas and, you know, use violence, and then in return, the youths now become a bit rowdy. Okay, but in essence, if you look at the first protest in 2024, it was very peaceful, and people came out across the country, everywhere. Okay, then the second one was also peaceful. Then the state now went to introduce goons so as to turn the protesters violent, and that now Kenyans can stop supporting the protesters. Okay, it is a strategy of stopping those who are protesting genuinely from doing so. But we did not stop. Like you saw in 2024, we continued. Even after the Right Honorable Raila said people should come down, we continued. And that is a time when now the state used now other tactics like abduction to try and single out some of us who are leading the protest.
We'll get to that. Now, but someone would argue that, you know, when you people are calling for these demonstrations, and, you know, I think the law has stipulated how the demonstrations should occur.
Article 37.
Yeah, there's the freedom of, you know, assembly, peaceful assembly, that is. But we have some areas, for example, traffic, that you can't have disruption on a major highway. You can't, the protests can't, you know, stop people from doing their businesses. So when you're conducting these peaceful protest, do you in a way have a plan on to avoid you know, getting into the law? Because if you are closing a highway, then the police will have to...
It's the job of the police to keep law and order. It's our
in
job
your
to
protest.
Yes, ours is to protest. Theirs is to keep law and order. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you said June 25th, you people will be on the streets?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And we've seen before that goons are being used to, you know, nowadays that nyinyi mkikuja, you are protesting. Now we have goons who are sent to, you know.
Yeah, to disrupt the protest.
So
yeah, we are going to deal with them as they come. They cannot stop. They can't stop. The goons cannot stop us from agitating. No, they can't.
But
it is a work of the police.
That's
why today the Inspector General. Before I came here, I was with the team that has just notified the Inspector General of Police about the 25th protest. Okay, so already the notice has been made to the IG. All right, so it is up to the state now to think through and sit down and now configure how do we contain and work to ensure that the protesters are given their day, their right to protest peaceably, all right, but we also we keep security and law and order. It's a difficult situation, which I also think they find themselves in. But as a responsible government, they should communicate in advance. I think the state is the one that escalates these issues. If I was the president as of now, I would actually declare 25th a public holiday and actually say that on that particular day, we are asking all security organs to cooperate with those who are protesting, you know, to keep law and order. Instead of retaliating or making it look like it's unconstitutional. When the president says shoot the legs, is he escalating the issue or de-escalating it? He's escalating the issue.
Escalating the issue.
Yeah, so we need a responsive government to understand. People lost lives on that day. Parliament was touched, was broken into, isn't it? That has never happened in our history. So I think the 25th coming is a very monumental day. One, we are asking, has justice been served even to the victims? If you ask me, have we been served with justice? I would say no. Up to date.
I think it was recently, I think the day before yesterday, the president was, looking at the compensation. I think the compensation of victims, yeah. And
okay,
so,
I do not object to compensation. There are people who have suffered, and the loss is actually, if somebody has lost a family relative who is a breadwinner, that person was contributing to that household. Okay, the compensation is very much in order. However, we are saying that besides compensation, there has not been any justice. Compensation does not equate to justice. Justice means that there is a procedure that is laid out through which the truth can be uncovered. Who killed these young people? Who abducted Bob Njagi and the Longton Jamils and others? So if we are paid today and told sorry, fine, that is somebody acknowledging that something wrong was done.
happening.
But still, justice has not been served.
Okay. Now, let's get to your abduction. You've been abducted twice in
Yes.
Kenya and in Uganda. Kenya came first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with Kenya. And, a lot of people just want to ask, like, before the abduction, where were you? What were you doing?
Okay. I'm the chairperson of the Free Kenya movement. It's a movement, it's a consortium. Free Kenya movement is a consortium of organizations that have come together from the civil society, the human rights, social justice movements, even political parties, trade unions, and associations. This movement came together as a movement for change in this country, and we have 4 pillars. One is a constitutional pillar, whereby we have a referendum, a popular initiative, which we are collecting 1 million signatures to bring together a popular initiative this year. We already have around 400,000 signatures. We have an online portal, www.freekenya.co.ke, where you can sign the referendum online. We have 7 agendas in this referendum. One, we want to abolish taxes on basic and essential commodities, including petrol, kerosene, diesel, cooking oil, maziwa, water, electricity. About 15 items we have listed as essential items that government should not tax. So as a people and as Kenyans, we are raising 1 million signatures to cushion the common man. What are we doing by this is to bring down the cost of living effectively, because we are saying that if the parliamentarians cannot effect these laws, then Kenyans, through a popular initiative, can make those changes. Number 2, we're talking of electoral reforms. We want to introduce electronic voting to sanitize the electoral process. We're talking about a change of the system and structure of government by introducing what we're calling a people's government in the system of governance. Okay, we want to strengthen devolution. Okay, we want to enhance fiscal clarity in the Ministry of Finance by making the Treasury independent. So these are some of the proposals we have put together for Kenyans to come together, collect 1 million signatures, and present these to IBC for referendum. That is one thing we're doing as a movement. Secondly, we're talking about legal reforms. We have been challenging bad laws in court. The Finance Bill 2024, what you call this Article 37 issues, we have taken them to court. We have even challenged the IBC, the constitution of the new IBC. We had said that the selection panel was done unconstitutionally, so that it can be a commission that can provide a certain outcome. So these are things that we have been doing as a movement, and because of that, we have not been in good books with the state. Okay, we have also been actively involved in social justice, human rights work. Okay, whereby we challenge whenever there is issues of corruption, bad governance, we organize protests. Okay, and that is part of exercising our constitutional rights. We also have a political pillar, whereby we are advancing the independence movement. We've come up with a coalition of independent leaders, whereby I'm vying as a presidential candidate independent.
You will be vying on an independent ticket?
Independent ticket, yes. Partyless. We say we are partyless as Gen Zs. So we're going independent. and we are organizing a coalition around independent candidates, all the way from 1,500 MCAs, 290 MPs, 47 governors, all of them independent.
So, in short, you want to do away with the party system?
With political parties, as we have found some of them are part of the problem. So it's a revolution, it's very revolutionary.
But Kenyans vote based on the party.
And that's the problem.
And, you know, sometimes tribal...
the parties are the enablers of tribal politics. Now, when Gen Z says that they say they are tribeless, partyless, they meant they don't want to participate in tribal politics. So how do you circumvent tribal politics? It's by going around the political parties. And how do you do so? You use an avenue that has been provided in the Constitution as independent. So we don't have to vie as, I'm in ODM, I'm in UDA. No. I'm on the ballot.
But do you think as a country we are there yet?
Yes, we are there because it's there in the Constitution.
Because regions are defined by, you know, political parties.
Let me give you an example. In Meru County, didn't we have an independent governor?
We have.
In Taita Taveta, we have an independent governor.
So but that's a fraction of the total elections.
It is a small fraction because the political structure in this country has been dominated by political parties over the years. The independent movement was just introduced in the 2010 Constitution. For the first time, we had independence in 2013. But political parties have been there since 1963. So it can tell you, that's why the political structure has been designed that you have to go through a political party to get to power. And in those political parties, there is no internal democracy. When you go for nominations, tickets will be sold, or you have to beg or to do even favors, some even sexual favors for women to get a certificate. So what we're saying, the independence tickets provides an avenue through where young men, people like Gen Zs, women, persons with disabilities can go straight to the ballot and get elected to parliament or to the county assemblies without being subject to a political party.
So you are actually against young people to participate into party politics, to actually, you know, join political parties, but to consider the independent ticket across.
Yes. Yes, as a revolution, as a way of revolutionizing our country. Because one, look at the finance bill today. Who votes for it? It's the political parties. When you have a party leader like for ODM and for UDA, they come together and decide, hey, let's support this bill. So two people run the business of the house. You saw what happened with Sakaja Johnson, governor, when he was being impeached. The former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, rest in peace, came together with the current president, and in a minute they called off the impeachment.
But
so
we have seen independent candidates.
Yes.
You know, we've had independent candidates who have clinched 2 seats before.
Correct.
But the moment, you know, after they are sworn in, after the, you know, the elections are over, the government takes in place, they are then bought to join the government side, and we witnessed that with the current government, and that's how we actually had a shift in terms of.
I think you're very right. You're very right on that, and we actually had an issue with those independent leaders. But what happened, like I've told you, the culture of independence is very new in Kenya. Many people go to vie as political party nominees in the elections, in the nominations. When they fail, that's when they come to being independent. So this guy is not really independent. He just lost a ticket in the party primaries, and because they want to go to the ballot, they come to independent. But what we are saying now is that we are creating a team of conscious leaders who choose to be independent from the onset. Like there is a calling, there is a reason why you're independent. We actually have a charter which we are asking all these leaders to sign that charter. It's a charter that says that all power comes from the people. Okay? And that's why we are pushing for certain structural changes like the people's governments to support any leader who is elected as an independent candidate can have direct communication with the people through the people's governments. Okay? So this is an avenue we're exploring, and it is there, and there is no difference between an elected member of parliament who is independent and one that comes from a political party, they both get the same allocation of CDF. So why would you then be compelled to vote for a person in a political party vis-a-vis one who is independent? Why would you choose them if you're a voter? You see? Yeah, so for us, where we sit, we had a meeting yesterday, and it was very well attended. The reception was good, and we are coming up with an alternative third force. Okay, what we are saying is that there is no difference between those in government today and some of those in the united opposition.
They're the same faces, just different situations.
It's been recycled. Okay, so the same monkeys in a different forest. So how do we say? How do we tell the difference between the broad-based government and the united opposition? Gachagua, Kalonzo, Matiang'i have all been bedfellows with these other people on the government side. Okay, they have worked together. They have been in government together. They serve together. Okay, they have been deputizing each other. So really, it's like the same coin, two sides of the same coin, heads or tails. Whether you choose heads or tails is the same coin. What we are saying is that it's time for a new Kenya, a new beginning. We cannot continue doing things the same way and expecting Kenya to change.
Okay.
All right?
Now, based on what I'm just speaking from you, you said before you will be vying for presidency in 2020.
I am vying.
You are vying for presidency in 2027. Now, you're putting away any possible chance of partnership with the members of the united opposition?
For now, I don't think we are aligning with them.
But at a later point, could you consider it?
Probably if we're going for a runoff, okay? If the country goes into a runoff, then we have to either choose whether to work with, that's the time you can make choices. But for now, I think our differences are very clear. You've had the agendas that we have, a people's government, abolishing taxes. We are talking about issues, not tribes. Okay? So if our issues align with them, if Gachagua comes and says, yes, we support this issue of taxes, yes, we support this issue of devolution, we shall work together.
But you said that Gachagua they're actually the
part of the problem, according to...
They're the same thing.
Yes,
so
yes.
When they come with different ideologies, now that changes.
Gachagua has supporters. Not him as a person, but he has supporters. True or false?
True.
Yeah, so they are Kenyans. When you talk about taxes, it affects them too. So we are finding alliances based on issues, ideologies, not on tribes. What we are differing about is the talk of this tribe versus that tribe. And unfortunately, he has been known to be very strong on tribal politics. Okay?